Hey everyone, hope you guys are doing great. In this video, we will be looking at how to play support Lich. During this video, we will learn about the hero abilities, item choices, general gameplay, and of course the talent tree. Lich is a ranged intelligence hero and he's got 4 abilities. He's usually played as a support hero and has a kit which allows him to apply movement speed and attack speed slows while controlling team fights and dealing a significant amount of magic damage. So his first ability is called Frost Blast and it does 200 damage, reduces movement speed by 30% and attack speed by 30. It's a pretty good skill to harass enemies in lane and also to slow down escaping heroes in team fights. His second ability is called Frost Shield. Lich can place a Frost Shield on an ally or tower and it will reduce incoming attack damage of any damage type. It also does 50 damage in a circular pulse every second and slows enemies that are hit by the pulse by 35% for 0.5 seconds. And this whole shield, it lasts for about 6 seconds. Alright, let's go over his next ability, which was reworked in a patch sometime back, and it is now called Sinister Gaze. Lich can hypnotize a target, forcing it to move towards him and disabling it. The gaze lasts for about 2.3 seconds and drains up to 25% of the target's mana at the maximum level of the spell. This ability can be used to quickly disable heroes who are running away from you or even to stop people from using teleportation scrolls. Also remember, if you do buy Nandimithra on Lich, this turns the spell into an area targeted spell. Last but not least, Lich has a great ultimate ability called Chain Frost. Lich will fire a massive orb of frost that bounces between enemies who are nearby, and these bounces will keep bouncing for up to 10 times, slowing and damaging them each time they hit. Each bounce increases the damage for the next bounce. The orb will do about 550 magic damage and the damage will be increased by 25 per bounce. The orb also causes about a 65% movement speed and a 65 attack speed slow for 2.5 seconds. So we've discussed his spells. Now let's look at what items you need to have as a support Lich. Usually you start off with some tangos and a couple of iron branches. You will of course have to share a couple of tangos with your mid laner, and the iron branches later on can be turned into a magic wand. And please guys, do not forget to get those important items like smoke and wards. You can opt for the early windlace if you want to be slightly mobile and for you to be able to position yourself better, or you can get a set of mangoes if you feel like you have kill potential when coupled with your safe lane carry. I'll talk about this more during the gameplay segment. Raindrops are perfect for surviving the early game magic damage, and they'll also provide a small amount of mana regen which is much needed for Lich. Also, don't forget to buy consumables like clarities or healing salves, because sometimes you really can't leave the lane and go back to base. Tranquil boots are the usual choice of boots for Lich. However, if you feel like the added range can help you cast spells from a distance, you can always opt to go for arcane boots and later on disassemble them to make the ether lens. If there is no urn carrier in your team, you might as well purchase one and later on upgrade it to a spirit vessel. Towards the mid game, you can opt for a glimmer cape and a force staff, which will allow you to kite your enemies and also save yourself and your allies. Aghanim Scepter converts Sinister Gaze into a non-BKB piercing mini black hole kind of spell, and this is gonna help you do some amazing crowd control during team fights. A Ghost Scepter purchase will definitely help you mitigate a majority of the physical damage that the enemy right clickers might have. A Yule Scepter of Divinity will help you dispel silences and other negative buffs while increasing your movement speed and mana regen. And please guys, as I said earlier, as a support player, please do not forget to buy Sentry's Dust of Appearance and Smoke of Deceit, which your team will definitely need. Lich has a pretty straightforward gameplay and laning stage. You usually pair up with your safe lane carry, and depending on the type of carry, you can decide to either go on the offensive or the defensive. Lich has great synergy with carries like Ursa, Juggernaut, Slark and Gyrocopter, who can take advantage of the slows and early game magic damage Lich can output. If you opt for a few early mangoes, as I mentioned earlier in the video, you can slowly chip away at the offlaner's health pool with Frost Blast, and once your carry is in a good position, You simply Frost Blast to slow the enemy and then cast Frost Shield on your carry, which will damage and slow the enemy even further and help your carry close the gap to finish off the enemy. However, if you do feel that the enemy often is kind of offensive and your carry is a bit of a weak one, then you can opt to max the Frost Shield and get a point in the Sinister Gaze so that you are able to disrupt any incoming ganks and protect your carry. During the mid game when fights take place often, you should almost always show up to them. Your ulti does a good amount of damage in these fights and it helps to split the fights up. The slows you provide helps to quickly run down any fleeing enemies. You're also really good at defending towers because you are able to cast your Frost Shield on towers that grant them damage resistance. Lich is also pretty great at slowing down aggressive gankers and providing protection with the Frost Shield. You can also initiate to a certain extent if you are able to get a good Sinister Gaze from the tree line or a Frost Blast to slow enemies that are out of position. Alright, so let's move to the talent tree selection. At level 10, you need to decide whether you need the extra movement speed or the 150 health. In this match, I opted for the plus 15 movement speed as the enemy had quite agile heroes like Doom and Queen of Pain. At level 15, you can choose between the minus 3 second Frost Blast cooldown or the 100 damage. Since I did not get Arcane Boots in this game, I went for the plus 100 damage challenge. If you do however choose the minus 3 second Frost Blast cooldown, you need to make sure that you have adequate mana to cast your spells in a team fight. At level 20, I would usually select the plus 150 cast range option, as this will allow Lich to get some really good Sinister Gazes to put enemy heroes out of position. The added cast range can be made to good use to start fights while you are away from the enemy, or even cancel teleportation scrolls or any channeled abilities the enemy might be having. The Frost Shield duration might be good in situations where you have melee carries that need to get up close to the enemy or having problems chasing them down. The higher duration can also come in handy when you are up against a heavy push lineup and need to defend towers or high ground. The level 25 talents of Lich are absolutely amazing. You could opt for the unlimited chain frost bounces, especially if you can combo with other abilities of your allies like Chronosphere, Arena of Blood, Overgrowth, etc. The Frost Shield providing plus 50 HP bonus regen might not seem that great on heroes, but guess what? It works on towers. It's like having your own repair kit. So if you're against a hard push lineup and need to defend the base, the HP providing Frost Shield talent might be the one for you. That's it for this guide. I hope you now have a better understanding as to how you can play support Lich in Dota 2. As you may have noticed, we've made some changes to the videos and tried to add a bit of quality to them, and we will keep improving them in the future. A huge shout out to my friend Pasan for helping me out with the revamping of our intro and some of the other elements we have incorporated into our videos. The channel is growing steadily, guys, and it's all because of you. I deeply appreciate it, and a massive thank you to all of you. Alright guys, that's a wrap, and until we meet again in the next video, it's GG, well played.